Well, I had to take a phone call from the wife. She's wondering where I'm at. Been in the park a while. So she's going to coffee with her friend, and my daughter's home alone. So I guess I'll wander home and make some buckwheat pancakes because they're my favorite. I love buckwheat, flax, hemp seed pancakes I make. They're so wholesome. I call them my manna, my food from heaven, or bread from heaven. Anyway, to sum up what I was saying, I guess, is, I took a very roundabout conversation today. I hit on a lot of various topics, but just speaking from my heart and sharing, that's all we can do. And see where life takes us, huh? Without any worry, without any struggle. Oh, I was going to make one other comment about finances. That's what it was. In my current perspective on wealth, it's that, I've always known that as we remove the struggle and our compulsion to try to make money by creating all these different businesses and being so interactive with the world, that our source of supply always comes from the universe. It's always there. It's our minds and our consciousness which determines how it's coming to us. So, for example, a person of the extreme highest caliber, say someone on Jesus' level, or even lower than that, they had no need to work or anything, because anything they desired, anything they required in life, they were so dialed in, their frequency was at a certain level that life supplied the needs at any moment, sometimes instantaneously. That is where we all can be at. And to achieve that, we obviously have to correct a lot of wrong thinking, of wrong feeling, and everyday expressions that we use of lack and limitation, and understanding on how these principles of energy work to correct and remedy that situation. So, obviously I've been working on that for 28 years or longer. I feel like my entire career was just handed to me in my lap. It literally was. I had no inclination, desire, or training to become a contractor. It just blossomed in me, and next thing I know, people are just literally throwing money at me to do things in their house. I literally had to watch YouTube at the beginning of my career, 18, 20 years ago, to figure out how to do the thing I was going to do the very next day and just execute it to the best of my ability. And I have never struggled ever since. It just came. I've never struggled. But at the same time, I'm ready to leave all of this because I feel I'm in a transition. Personally, I feel I'm in a transition, and that something, the next phase is coming. It's coming. It may be, my daughter's turning 11, so, it may be 7 years down the road, but it's coming. I feel it. Clearly as ever. I feel like I'm in greater and greater training to root out and fine-tune those aspects of my being that are still causing limiting experience to occur. And that is what we all should be doing. It's just fine-tuning our beings, paying attention to the inner cues. We all can receive endless, ceaseless guidance at all times on every subject we require. The guidance I've been receiving has been almost non-stop since my day of samadhi 28 years ago. It has grown stronger and clearer and more concise to the point where, like I said, I have no worries. I'm there. I'm on the path, and I want everyone else to do this too, because it's beautiful, and it brings so much ease and relaxation to the worldly experience. Like, it does not matter if we lose our bodies the next day. Everything we gain by raising our consciousness is permanent. There's no regression. So, if you have to come back to the next embodiment, no biggie, you'll pick up where you left off. And it'll probably be even easier. That's why it's so important we make progress in each embodiment until we can graduate. And move on to a higher service. Oh, I remember. I never quite completed my thought about how I felt there was something more to, what comes after, right? What comes after samadhi? How do I just become like my teacher, this homeless looking guy that could do miracles, right? Is that what I become? But I felt like there was even more. And so that's when I discovered even higher, or I shouldn't say higher teachings, but a more broadening of what happens to individuals, after they graduate. Because we don't just suddenly dissolve back into, this, soup of universal substance. Sorry, I had to climb over a railing and get back on the sidewalk here. Sorry, there's going to be traffic too. I'm walking back down the street to my neighborhood. But we don't just dissolve into this universal substance, right? And just kind of disappear. We are individualized for eternity. But it's not the same type of individualization that has separatedness. It's a non-dual form of individualization. It's infinite. There is an infinite amount of individualized expression being realized. So it's almost like we have an eternal personality, because everyone's experience and journey and service to life will be forever slightly varied from any other, expression of life. So, that's something I never really understood early on, because it felt like what I was feeling through the Buddhist teachings and other teachings was that you just kind of merge in like this nirvana and just kind of, I don't know, I always felt like there was something more. There was something more. And that's what I really discovered about the greater service we have to render that never ceases. There is no stopping. Like, it's almost as if we are forever chasing the original creator of life, the origin of origins. We're forever chasing after that ultimate attainment, and it's ever receding further and further in the distance. So we can never surpass it. And yet our service can be ever and ever greater. Anyway, I'm kind of back in my neighborhood. Better dial it back here a little bit, right? People might get the wrong idea about me. I'm just playing. Well, I wish it'd be nice to see the sun today, but I'm sure it'll pop out. I live by the ocean a little bit, so there's a marine layer. we seem to be having here today. Anyway, love you. Success on your journeys.